Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me today. Well, we haven't spoken about Bits of Bish in a very, very long time, and I said I wasn't going to really talk about her because she was going through it, and I said unless some kind of big event happens, I wouldn't really talk about her. Now, I'm not going to be very snarky today, we'll see. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about like this ongoing continuation of family vlogging and how it really works and how what they show you is complete lies all the time, which is kind of one of the original ideas I had about family vlogging. One of the things I stuck with it because a lot of people stack up and compare themselves to these perfect women who do these things, but in the end it's all falling apart. When Bits of Bri, it was all falling apart for so long and she kept silent on it. So apparently today she tells us why. So we're gonna listen, we're gonna take it apart, and we're gonna see what she has to say. Because apparently she's already got a new dude in the scene, so let's go. So if you're one of the new followers, I haven't spoken about Bits of Bri in a long time. Now, Bits of Bri was one of the closest friends of Micah Stauffer, which was the family vlogger who I started talking about on this channel. When Micah adopted the kid from China and everything went south, then they apologized for not telling anybody, not really for what they did, and they are still benefiting from the internet today with James Stauffer's Stauffer Garage. Bits of Bri was part of her circle, was her friend for a while. They went on trips together. They were close. I think I'm not sure they went to high school together or something like that. But Bits of Bri basically disowned her like everybody else did when her and James did what they did to H. And good, because that's what you do. If there's someone in your life who does that to another child, you disown them. So it's him. But it brought her to my attention and we started talking about her stuff and her exploitation. Now, as far as it goes as child exploitation, she's not the worst at all. She's just one of the fakest. That's for sure. Her and Love Meg are very, very similar in how they're not really child exploiters, but they're this fake side of influencers, which is another thing I talk about. Influencer culture in general and how fake it is and how dangerous that is. Now, for Bits of Bri, there was a lot of speculation on Adam, her husband, and if he was cheating on her. Remember that video we did when we talked about Adam, when she like revealed that she was pregnant and he wasn't happy and she was super upset about it. But she went on and did all these things to try to mitigate the disaster that her marriage was. They bought a house in Hawaii. It was like a trailer mosquito farm for like $1.3 million. And actually, I think they came out on top on that one, except for the taxes they probably had to pay. But they moved there to try to figure this all out. And it was all for content. It was all because her content was falling apart. So she moves there. They get divorced there. And then she goes silent on the entire process. I did a video about her there. And then that's when this whole thing went down. And I said, hey, look, she's going through it. I don't need to pile on, which is the same thing going on with the R Life right now. I hope that she's not faking this, that Kendall's not faking this, because I reached out to Kendall and I said, because she made a video basically about me saying all the drama channels I'm going to monetize this because drama channels are just going to take advantage of this and blah, blah, blah. So I reached out to her and I said, look, I'm still a human being, right? I'm an asshole, yeah, because I don't like child exploiters, but oh my God, I'm still a human. Like if you're going through this shit, I'm not going to pile on. I consider that bullying, okay? So when she went through her divorce, same with Kendall is right now, that's why I don't really talk about that stuff because, I mean, that's basically the shit they deserve. I mean, that's basically sort of what they all had coming. And so there's no reason for me to capitalize on that or to like add to it because that's the shittiest thing that could happen to anybody. So there's really no reason for me to pile on because, again, I have to live with myself, right? So I have no problem calling out exploiters and fake influencers for all the shit that they do. They make other people feel bad or wanting or, you know, all that kind of stuff. I have no problem with that. But when the shit is actually hitting the fan in these people's lives, we still have to be human. There's a lot of people asking me, well, are you going to cover the Kendall thing? The only way I would cover that is if it ends up being fake. But I reached out to her and I said, hey, look, I'm not going to cover this. And she said, thanks. And I said, you know, best of luck, because that sucks. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That's why I stopped talking about her, and that's why I stopped, and that's why I'm not covering the Kendall situation, right? We still, like, come on, guys, you know that for sure. Like, there's got to be some level, there's got to be some kind of unwritten rules to some degree. I'm not going to keep piling on to somebody who clearly is having major issues, right? But in the same breath, we also have to realize that a lot of these issues, maybe not the divorce, and maybe it is, maybe not, but a lot of the issues they have when it comes to their mental stuff is because they put on a fake show day in and day out for money and for lots of money. And I've said this multiple times, the money matters more than their mental health, than their children's upbringing, than their children's privacy, than all the shit that they put on the internet. They care more about the money and the clout that they get than anything else. That is one of the big overarching themes of the thing we talk about here. Exploitation, yes, but also fake influencing. Because these people aren't like they are. So Bits of Bri had this perfect marriage until it wasn't perfect anymore. And so she went silent on it for like, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. Everybody knew, the record was public, everybody found it, but she just didn't say a word. Which is weird because people like this always capitalize on shit like this. Like Kendall Rich, for whatever is happening, and that sucks for her. If Daniel cheated on her, that's gross. But she's gonna capitalize on it. She is capitalizing on it. It's her prerogative. But I'm surprised that Bits of Bri didn't. These people will stop at nothing to give you everything for money. And so when she didn't talk about it, I was like, okay, she must be going through some shit. Because for an influencer not to use that for money, that's something's going on. And so my conjecture was that Adam was like, don't talk about this. Like, if you want this to go right and smooth, don't talk about it online. Which is his right too. So let's see what she has to say about the whole thing. And it's 16 minutes. Here we go.
Hey, it's Brianna. Welcome
Brianna
back to my channel for this 2020.
Oh, I missed that vocal fry. I didn't. Hey, it's Brianna
3 life update video. I feel like it's a new year. And in many, many ways, I feel like it's a new me since this time last year.
So I haven't spoken about her in a long time. And my initial right off the top, boom. This woman does not want to be doing this video. Something is up. She is not happy. There's no glow. She is not glowing. Not happening. So she's depressed or something's going on, or like, I don't think we're ever really getting into the story. She kept this off of her channel for so long because of whatever reason. I think for that same reason, she's really not going to tell everything.
There's just been so many changes over the last year that I've never truly filled you in on or addressed here, because it is a bit difficult. It does feel like anything I say in this video, I'm nervous because I don't want it to be misconstrued or taken the wrong way. So
do the video. You're on the internet for money. This is what happens. You don't get to choose. Your necklace is crooked.
If I appear to be a little bit nervous, I am a little nervous, and this is something very emotional to talk about.
So don't talk about it. Don't. You've kept it off the internet this long. Why do you have to? Let this be a lesson. You don't need to. People were asking questions and you just ignored it for like 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was. Why just keep that going? Who cares? I honestly believe it's because there's probably a new dude in the picture and she wants to introduce him to the vlog, and she needs to like clear the air. So this has to be that milestone where then she can bring the new guy in. That's the only thing I could think of. And
it's taken me quite a time to do some healing, and I think even get to a place where I can just be open with you guys about it.
See, there it is. So I can be open and healing. So she does the healing, but she doesn't change anything about what she does. She's still, I'm going on the internet. You can see my ass cleaning this damn same carpet. You can see this all. Like, she's a thirst trap cleaning mom. But like, to do what healing? There's nothing you've really shared. And you've done the same shit over and over and over again. I don't think we're going to know the truth unless Adam ever comes out and says it. But I honestly believe that Adam was like, you're not talking about this on the channel until we're like, everything's figured out.
On my channel. So I've gotten a lot of questions. I think majority of people just want to know, am I doing okay? Are the kids okay? How's our family? We've had a
family. What is the K? Who's K?
A lot of transitions, and I think people just want to know, like, what happened? Why did you move back from Hawaii to Ohio? Are you ever going back to Hawaii?
We all knew the answers. We already knew all this shit.
Lots and lots of questions. So again, I just kind of want to address it all in this video and give you an update. So this spring, if you're new and just, I guess, clicking in for the tea here, we were living in Hawaii, and when the kids finished school in May, we moved back to Ohio, and we did sell our home in Hawaii, which...
It's funny because, I said this on my channel like 5 months ago. We all knew this, and I guess she's like, well, here's the confirmation of it all. I suppose that matters, I guess. I don't know. Not really. We all knew.
It's just really...
They spent... Like, I know that they came out on top from the sale, but they probably had to pay the tax on the profit, and they spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars before that even happened, before they got to that house. They lost money. It was a bad investment, I think they didn't come back from Hawaii with more money. They came back with less money. And their dog had to stay quarantined for like 6 weeks or something like that.
Really heartbreaking. I feel like we loved Hawaii. We had like raised, I feel like, so many important years of our kids' lives there. Like, it's really the only...
You were there for like a year. So many years of my kids' lives. You were there for 1 year. That's all, lady. What? Bits of Bri, you could easily have done this, just been like, look, guys, F this all. Here's the damn truth. Here it is. Just be real and raw for once. You might gain some fans. Might gain some people who are like, okay, I have respect for you now. Stop lying. Liar.
Home Hayden ever knew, and landed in
Yeah, Hayden still, to this day, the newborn, doesn't have memories. Hayden won't know.
kindergarten and first grade there. Pezzy did preschool there. They had so many friends there. They still like FaceTime their Hawaii friends all the time, and I never want to lose that aloha connection that we have there.
If you're wondering where aloha pineapples came from, there it is. Bri, it's good to see you back. I know. Aloha. Oh my God.
But ultimately, we decided that for our family, moving back from Hawaii back to Ohio would be the best decision, because this was really, really difficult for us to make this decision, but we ultimately decided it was the healthiest one for our family if Adam and I got divorced.
She just made that all really weird. It happened in Hawaii. A lot of people made the connection that they moved to Hawaii because she wanted to save the marriage, get him away from whoever was in Ohio. It didn't work. Probably, I'm just making this like this is what people think, and it didn't work for him. So he's like, and I think he filed in Hawaii. So she sort of made that sound like they moved back and then got a divorce, but it wasn't the case. It happened there, then they moved back.
So we are officially divorced at this point in time. We officially separated back in the spring, in April.
In Hawaii.
And, we're both children of divorce. We've, experienced this and just know what it was like from a kid's perspective. And we were both adult children when our parents divorced. And we just knew our kids are our everything. We love them so much. We wanted to try to make all of this as positive as we could.
Here's where I'll talk about the whole family vlogging thing comes in on this thing. Even to this day, she's trying to make this sound like it was just it was mutual. It wasn't mutual. Something happened. He probably did something. She didn't want to say about it. And the issue that makes it so scary and also kind of icky is that she's not allowed to have real human emotions on this channel because she has created this narrative of perfection that you need to see. Look at her now. Perfect makeup, perfect lighting, shitty audio, but they don't care about audio, right? It's all, what matters to them is a perfect clean room. I have the perfect ring light. I have everything done. This matters more than anything. And that's the scariest part about family vlogging, about influencing culture in general, is that even when they're going through the worst shit of their lives, they have to show you something else. And as a human, that's gotta suck ass, right? That's gotta suck. And so even to this day, she's obviously talking around what really happened. She's not gonna give you the tea, what she says. She's just telling you the surface level stuff. And that should speak volumes about anybody that you watch on the internet. Don't believe anything that's going on in their lives, because likely in the back end, marriages are failing all the time. Most of these people that are still together are only together for money. But you could tell Adam didn't want to be in these vlogs anyway. And so at one point, he's like, and don't forget, Adam quit his job because she was making the money. And then he had to get back to work, and now he has to go make his own money. Maybe she's got to pay child support. I don't know. But they're clearly not telling you everything. It's definitely way more messy than she's letting on right now. That's for sure. But that's because the family vlogging and the narrative she's created in this world that she's created, this aesthetic, matters more to her than actually telling you guys anything. Because in the end, this is the type of shit you really want to know, right? How do you overcome these things? Not like, here's how you get boobs done. I really want to bring awareness to boobs. This is something most people will struggle with in their life, in their marriages. And so when they lie to you about that stuff, none of it is real. But it also tells me that possibly that he did something and she could tell the world, but doesn't, which is weird. Not weird, but weird. Or she did something and he's not gonna tell the world. There's an agreement somewhere where they're not, there's some non-disparagement agreement somewhere here, for sure.
Emotional things we were going through. So we, in the springtime, worked together to have what's called an uncontested divorce. A contested divorce is where you would go to court and, get lawyers and
spend all your money,
sort of battle things out. Uncontested is when you can come to an agreement, whether that's with your lawyers or with mediators. And, we had our decree sort of all finalized and written up.
Yeah, this is what makes more sense. So he basically said, look, you're not going to tell the internet what I did. Okay. And you get this, and this. Because he's got to go live his life, right? He's on the internet now too. And, but Adam, hear me out, buddy. If you're watching this, you're a piece of shit too. Don't forget that. You deserve everything coming your way. If you cheated on Bits of Bri, you're a dickhead. Anybody who cheats on their spouse, you're all dickheads. Okay. That's why the thing with Kendall and Daniel is like, okay, Daniel to me seemed like the good guy of the marriage. Holy shit, was I ever wrong about that if this is all true? He stepped out on his wife. And a lot of people are like, well, Kendall deserved that. Did she? Does anybody deserve that regardless of what type of person you are? Unless you're abusive. Okay, that's different. But if you're just like if you married that person, that's who they were, and then later on you stepped out because that's on you, dude. That's your choice to make. You're a dick face for doing that. Like I have no, like the same is why Kira from OK Baby gets so much ratio, because she did this. She took another marriage, she took her best friend's husband. Now she's with him, right? This is still one of those things that's really, really just the world thinks is gross, and it should, right? So Adam, so something happened there. Adam's like, don't tell the world what I did. And you can have this, and this. You can have the car, the house, blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, live on. And here's what we want. We want week on, week off. We'll both live in Ohio. They all had their things to put in there. And for some reason, she agreed to that, which is why I'm like questioning, does he have some kind of, like, because if he says, like, if you release that information, I'll tell everybody who you really are behind the scenes, right? He's got more tea than she'll ever have. Like, he might have done the thing that he did, and it might have hurt her, and that's an asshole thing to do, but he also probably said something like, hey, you say shit, I'll say shit. And she can't have that, because the only way this woman makes money is on YouTube. And that should scare everybody, because her life is falling apart, and all she have is YouTube to fall back on. And that is not a backup plan, everybody.
In May, prior to us then moving back here to Ohio, so once we were back here, we knew what our living arrangements were going to be. We knew what our custody arrangement was going to be for the kids, and all of that, and how we were kind of dividing up everything, which is just so hard. It's so heartbreaking. When you get married, you want to believe it's going to be this lifelong fairy tale. You don't imagine that, you're ever going to be sitting there having to split things up.
Well, not to be too harsh, but you've created a narrative, and you're a narcissist. Like, I'm surprised any of these marriages survive. I'm surprised James is still with Micah. That's actually mind-blowing to me, that you're with somebody that could actually do that to someone else. And don't forget, though, that James did that too, so maybe they're just made for each other, right? Maybe he's just like he's a cuck. Or maybe he's just like a beta male, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I've said that a million times. James is a beta, Micah's the alpha. Same situation here. He's a beta because they were making money, but in the end, he wanted to not be the beta. And she's like, this is the dream we all had, but you created a dream and you put it on the internet that was fake. You probably didn't give enough attention to your marriage because you gave all the attention to yourself and your aesthetic and your channel. I think, honestly, the lives that they lead on these channels is very, very hard to keep together a real family when everything is fake in front of the camera. Does that make sense? So you're someone else when the camera's on, and then when the camera's off, everything else goes on. But they're also stuck in this world over here with the fans that they're commenting with, the drama that they're involved in, and all that stuff. I honestly don't think that a healthy marriage, I don't think it's possible to have a truly healthy marriage if you do what these people do. I think it's impossible.
And it, more than anything, I think it's just devastating of like the time with the kids, of figuring out like what holidays are going to look like in that time that you always envisioned being like as a family unit together, knowing that, okay, like it's going to be different. It's going to be time taken away that you're not going to get with your babies anymore. I think like that's just, it's a lot. And I think if you've gone through it, or if you have a friend who's gone through it, or if you are going through it or contemplating it, it is just one of the most difficult times of your life when you are figuring all of these like really, really heavy, big, important things out.
Yeah. Again, it reiterates the fact that I think that she's honestly been told not to say anything what it's about. Because at this point, everybody knows her divorce, right? But they want to know why. What happened? So, like, if you're being real and raw with your audience, like you have been your whole time, like you said, why not just... Again, I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying from a perspective of her fans, why not just tell people what happened? Now, you got Kendall Rich out there friggin' blowing the whistle like hardcore about this girl that Daniel cheated on, and she's even sending text messages to women, sharing it on TikTok and saying, you better tell your husband or I'm telling him right now. And that woman's like, is this a threat? She's like, yeah, it's a threat. And she's like, I'm a famous YouTuber, all this stuff. And, it is what it is. But, like, Kendall's, like, airing it out, and that's what people want, and she's monetizing it. Well, she is not, but will give you all the other things. I don't know. I'm conflicted on it.
And I think that's why I just want to apologize. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude or ignore you, or I never meant to sort of make you feel like you were disconnected from me here in our community. Because I know in the past I've shared very raw and real emotional moments of my life. And I think you've seen...
Literally saw you birth a baby on the internet. Birthed a child. So you're cool showing us that to the world, but you're like, well, I'm not going to tell you what happened here. That's a little too far. I mean, holy shit. Priorities.
My babies grow up on this channel. You've seen me grow up in many, many ways. I had tons of growing to do when I think of when I first started my channel when Lana was 3 months old, and he's 7.5 now. So
that should scare everybody. This is all this woman has. 7.5 years she's been on YouTube making money. And now either she has to split that with Adam or something, I don't know, or she's got to continue doing this when this, I mean, she's not going to increase anymore. Like, she's not, if we look at her social blade, she's at, she has 440,000 subscribers. When I first started talking about her, I think she's like 350. So she's grown in the time I've talked about her. And for someone who has 300,000 subscribers, growing by 1K a month, that's nothing. It's like very, very low. And she only has 739,000 views for the past 30 days, so she's not even really making any money on YouTube. I'm sure she makes tons of money on Instagram, and I know she has lots of brand deals where she makes money, but as AdSense alone, she's hardly making anything. So it's very interesting to see what's happened to her channel. But on Instagram, she's probably killing it. So she still makes her money on social media, but it's not what it once was. And that to me is scary for anybody. So if you go to her YouTube, she has 74 million views, so she's made 8 figures on this channel over her time here. She's made a lot of money. And her videos now, this one has 91,000 views, but she's floating around 51, 81,000, and she only posts like every 2 weeks. So she can't keep this up. I don't know what's happening. She's going to have to marry a rich dude, which some people are thinking she is hooked up with some rich dude. We'll see. I don't know.
Over 7 years, I've shared tons of moments of my life where you've gotten insight. And I know that this last year, I didn't do that when it comes to this situation, and I couldn't. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Sorry, I don't take that. She set up a tripod when she had her miscarriage or whatever it was, and set up that tripod to come in and get a hug from her husband. She will give you that, which is probably one of the rawest, realest, most heartbreaking things any woman, I mean, even over divorce, probably the most harshest thing any woman could ever go through. And I'm just saying as a dude, that's what I think. Okay. She'll do that. But for some reason, this one was off limits. And that's why I think there's an agreement in place. She's not allowed to disparage. He's not allowed to disparage because because if she were to like uncover what he did, which is what I think, in my opinion, happened here, he cheated on her. And then he'll say, fine, then let's throw the baby out with the bathwater and let's tell everybody everything. Because you know she's got some skeletons. Hardcore.
It was so emotional. There were so many high levels of emotion that I just didn't ever want to say or do something that I regretted. I know Adam felt the same way. Like, it just felt like something
that's what I just said.
For our kids and for our family.
Yep.
We didn't want that, like, in the moment things being shared.
Exactly. You tell the internet what I did. I'm going to tell the internet who you are. Don't you dare ruin my life for your vlog. Right? But, he deserves to have his life ruined. If he did that to his wife, what a piece of shit. Okay? What a piece of absolute trash for doing that. And a lot of people were saying it was. And it's not over. Someone might find out, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing that sucks about that. She can't really tell everybody the truth because he'll tell people the real truth. And she was more scared of the real truth coming out than putting people on her side. Again, this is, I honestly think, what happened. Because It'd be very, very hard for a female who runs these vlogs to cheat on their husband without getting caught hard. Okay? Plus they're so wrapped up in themselves and their families and filming and all that stuff and I'm not saying this is an excuse. That's why their husbands step out, because they are not getting the attention that they want from their wives. And I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's not. There's never an excuse to cheat on your spouse. Okay? If you're going to do that, just end the damn thing. Okay? Just end it. If it's done, it's done. Don't do stupid shit. Okay? That's what I'm saying. But there, of course, there's going to be nuance to it all, but there's just never an excuse for that. He should have just done what he had to do, break it up. But maybe there was a space in there where she's like, okay, we can't break up because the vlog, the money that we make, we have to make this look real. That's what I'm scared of. That's why we talk about this stuff.
So I hope you can understand all of that. And again, I think so many of you were so nice at respecting our privacy, and I would see people defending me constantly of like, she doesn't have to talk about anything she doesn't want to talk about. So just thank you. I needed that encouragement and those kind words. I really, really needed that. So thank you. And yeah, I think then when we moved back here, it just was kind of this new beginning in a lot of ways. This sort of...
The issue too is that you could have just said, hey, look, guys, I'm not ready to talk about it. There's some obviously going down with Adam and I. When I'm ready, I'll talk about it. She just kept silent on the whole thing. Almost like the Kira thing with Preston, is because she knew that was bringing people to her channel, and she kept it internal so that she could reap the benefits of it. That's what I think.
Chapter where I could, work on some things and heal some things that really needed to heal after going through just this heartbreaking time.
If you're not going to say shit, don't say vague shit. Makes it worse. I mean, I was going through this thing in a space, and I was signed up for going to Mars and all this extra thing, side thing, thinging, and I was just like, oh my gosh, the things. So I was like, thing. No, we don't get it. Stop saying that shit. Make it worse.
So I got a therapist. I got a coach. I binged I don't know how many different podcasts about divorce. I think like the one I would just direct you to first if you are going through this, it's by Michelle Dempsey is her name. It's called the Moms Moving On podcast. She brings on tons of experts about everything divorce, whether it's lawyers, therapists.
Is there a lighter on her bedside table? Oh, for candles. Okay.
Just there's a ton of, I feel like, expert advice that you can get from that podcast as like a free resource of where to...
Imagine Bits of Bri secretly was cooking meth. Just saying. Anything's possible.
Start. She had a book too, I guess, in the audiobook. I listened to a ton of audiobooks.
I don't care.
And yeah, I just kind of, I think, surrounded myself with the therapist, the coach, all that information. And then again, kind of the big decision of why we decided to move back to Ohio, why we thought it would be the best thing for us, is our families are here. Most of our family is here. My sister does live in Phoenix, but like my grandma and grandpa, my mom's here.
Adam's girlfriend's here.
And then...
I know that's not funny, but I'm saying that's probably what happened.
And our friends, we have... like our main support network of friends are here. I do have friends who live in places, so like my girlfriend in New Orleans flew me down this summer to have girl time with her. And that was just like so needed when I like first got back here. The very first night after I sort of got a good night's rest, that first night all my friends were over here at my house, brought over tacos and, just made me feel so...
Okay, I'll give you that. Tacos are the answer to a lot of life's problems. So believe it.
Surrounded with love and supported through this really difficult decision. And then I feel like new people sort of entered into my life this summer. But
that's what people are saying. Bits of Bri's new man. Yeah, so apparently there's this new guy, and he's kind of a mystery. And so I think honestly, she's setting this video up so that the new guy comes in, is like, moving on, new life, and blah, 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 new guy, and all that stuff. And so it's like, it's very convoluted because she's like in this marriage. But I think a lot of people realize the marriage was probably way before they even moved to Hawaii. And it was just kind of a mitigating thing, trying to hold things together, trying to get him away from all that. And then it just didn't work. In the end, they tried, and it just didn't work. It's fine. At least you tried, right? And so she met some guy in the summer, probably in New Orleans or something, and apparently he's rich or something. I don't know. Guess it's gonna have to be because your shit's falling apart.
Being like a new hairdresser when I was just like, I want to go back to feeling more like me, and she's become like one of my best friends now. And it's just been so amazing to be surrounded by women who make me feel loved and empowered and supported on this channel here too, because
The parasocial relationship that you have with me, I love it because you make me money.
This community that we have here.
Stop calling it a community. It's a parasocial relationship. Stop calling it a community. You don't know any of these people.
You guys, I feel like, have looked out for me and just made me always feel like I have a purpose, always feel like I have a creative outlet, always feel like I have a place to come to.
I wonder why your marriage failed. You guys are the reason I came here because that's all I had. That's what she said right there. I came here because that's my outlet. That's where I came. And that's why I honestly think that none of these marriages are real. Like, you look at Ace Family, you look at any of these people have these marriages, like Jess Femme and Chris. That shit ain't real. Shit ain't real, yo. You got Daniel and Kendall Rich. That was one that surprised me because Daniel was the yes man cheerleader for his family. And that one surprised the shit out of me. So if that can happen, if Daniel, who was like the yes man of everything, can cheat on his wife, like that, to me now, like anything is possible. We know that Austin McBroom from Ace Family 2 cheats on his wife multiple times. She probably does the same thing, and they probably just have non-disclosure agreements, or they have an agreement in place. This, again, when you see that perfect life, you're being shown a lie. Nobody has a perfect life, dude.
Where I have love and support. So just thank you. I really don't think I could be here and be in this place where I know a lot of healing has happened. Not that it's fully complete, but so much healing has happened. And I really do feel like a new person, and that entering this new chapter is something I'm excited for. So I just want to
there it is, the new chapter. New dude.
Encourage you, because I think a lot of people have reached out and said, hey, can I tell my friend about your channel? She's going to be getting divorced and all of that. And, I'm not an expert. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a lawyer. I can't.
We know. You vacuum on YouTube. That's what you do. We know you're none of those things.
Give that kind of advice or professional counsel. But obviously, as somebody who has now experienced this, I can assure you that as hard and as awful as it might be, there is a way to heal, and there is a space where you can breathe when all of this is said and done, and you don't have to walk on eggshells forever, and it doesn't have to be.
Is she literally talking 16 minutes in this about nothing? She's so good at this. Holy shit. She's been talking for 10 minutes and she's just said, hey, we got a divorce. That's it. The rest has just been bullshit.
Unhealthy and toxic forever. Both you and that person who you once did love can both get to a place where that's possible for both of you again. And I think that's where I am just quite proud, honestly, of Adam and I. Again, we're both children of divorce. I think we knew that this was going to be really difficult. We both had a lot of emotions, but we will always be putting our kids first, and just, as many growing pains as I'm sure we'll still have, and things that we might not see
She's still going? Holy.
To eye on, we have really always tried to put the kids first in all of these decisions that we've made. And we were able to trick or treat together this Halloween. I'm so proud of us for that. We were,
oh my God,
able to wrap presents together, and we spent Christmas morning together, and I'm really proud of us for that too.
Did the new girl come? The new guy come?
It's not easy after you go through this really difficult period of time. That's for sure. So I don't want to portray it oh, it's just been picture perfect. No,
Well, that's surprised, because that's what you picture your life as anyway, and that's why you ignored everybody, and that's why you talked to, because you wanted to be perfect, picture perfect, and that's kind of actually scary. You should have said, guys, I'm sorry for doing that to you guys. You should know that this shit ain't real. Just, there should be a disclaimer to everybody's family vlogs. This shit ain't real, yo. Don't think this shit is real. It ain't.
Really had to work on a lot, but I think, both of us, the most I'm comfortable with saying is I think we recognized at the end of the day, we weren't loving each other the way each other needed to be loved. But I think we both want that for each other. I respect him as the father of my children, and obviously I'm the mother of his children, and we are going to have to communicate for a long time, the rest of our life, about our kids. And at least, Hayes too. At least for the next 16 years, we're going to have to pretty closely be in communication about stuff, and it would be better not only for the children, but for us and for our mental health and well-being.
Oh my God, what's better for your children? Get off the internet. Get off the internet. The shit is going to be out there forever. I mean, this is relatively tame and vanilla compared to everything else that goes on. And that's who she really is. But at the same time, it's just like, oh my God.
If we can do that as kindly as possible and as respectfully as possible with one another. So, I think we're moving towards that day by day. And I think we're also just both kind of moving forward. I think that's a question I've been asked a lot lately.
What?
Because I did post kind of like a wrap up of the year.
Did you?
You guys pay very close attention to detail.
Oh, that's the dude that's in the picture. So everybody's like, oh, you did that on purpose. You wanted to show us the new dude. We get it.
And that's something for me I'm going to hold a little close to me. It's something I'm in.
Oh, another one of these Kiras. You know what, guys? He's going to keep his privacy, okay? But my kids, my marriage, nothing. No, they don't get privacy. But this guy, he gets privacy. You can't make this shit up, everybody. They always do this. And they're so silly for being so hypocritical. And that just shows how selfish they are. Is that I can make this choice for my kid that I'm going to give you all their privacy and put them on the internet and make money off them. As soon as a new guy comes in, you guys, how dare you ask he doesn't want to be on the internet. Well, maybe your kids don't either, asshole.
Enjoying and taking slowly and just sort of enjoying for myself at the moment. The kids have not
named Kevin or something
met who I'm dating yet, so I feel like it would be inappropriate for me to share any more than that. But I know,
it's weird, man. Thank God I am a blessed man to be married for 15 years. A lot of people are like, I've seen some of my haters' comments were like, how does his wife stay with him? Oh my God, he must be holding her hostage or something. I mean, maybe you're just wrong. Maybe we have a good marriage. And you're going to be mad that I have a good marriage. I've been with my wife for 15 years and I still completely desire my wife. I fall in love with my wife at least once a year for some reason. The other day she was opera singing in the kitchen. And generally sometimes I annoy you if you're being like doing something, but I'm like, she's amazing, right? There's certain things that are endearing. And as you grow older together, those things that used to maybe annoy you before might turn into something that endear you or vice versa. But like, maybe you're just wrong about me. You're not the big giant asshole you think I am. That could be it.
Adam's dating as well. And
we know Adam's dating. Been dating since you were married, allegedly.
I think for both of us, like I want him to be happy and I want myself to be happy, because ultimately if we're happy, that's going to make our kids happy and be the best thing for them. So
the thing that's was such a mystery about Brianna is that this is who she really is in real life. Like and I know she's not, but imagine this is what she really is like in real life. How could you cheat on this? Right? This woman keeps her house in immaculate condition. She keeps herself in immaculate condition. Okay? She is, for all intents and purposes, the perfect wife. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I call this out, because clearly it's not the truth. And I'm not saying it's an excuse for him to go cheat as well, because that's obviously the worst thing you could ever do to somebody. But this is the thing. What they show you, it's detrimental, because it's absolutely not true. And our kids and everybody is being influenced in such a way by all these influencers all over the world that it's such a scary place our kids are growing up in. And that's why I talk about this stuff. That's really, really important. That's why you should not let your kids go on the internet, on social media anyway. Not have social media platforms, not have digital footprints. If they want to play Roblox or whatever, just make sure they're being safe. My kids are not having social media platforms. None of them are. And hopefully I can do this. Hopefully they can trust me enough to say, look, trust me, you don't want one, and not until you're at least 16 to 18 years old. And people might scoff at me and say, oh, whatever, you're going to have to deal with it. I mean, that's what I want for my kids. I'm going to try my damnedest to make that happen, because otherwise this is the alternative.
I think that's sort of where we're at in this new chapter and on this journey.
Chapter.
And, I'm just excited for us. I think
new chapter.
As hard as all of this was, there were really important lessons that I just needed to learn. And I think I'd lost myself for a very long time. I think a lot of women, I've heard other women just say this too, that it's something you go through when you become a wife and you become a mother. You lose parts of you. I think especially if you're a people pleaser and you're just giving, trying to make your partner happy, trying to make your children happy, you can lose yourself if you're.
No, you're trying to make the internet look at you a certain way. That was what she's saying here. Not about making everybody else happy. You're making yourself happy, making yourself a shit ton of money while portraying something fake on the internet. That has got to, I know everybody says family vlogging is not hard because it's not really difficult as far as labor is concerned. Time takes a ton of time. But what they don't tell you is the toll it takes on your mental health because you are being fake all the time. That has got to be one of the hardest things you could possibly do, is to be continuously lying, hiding things that are actually going on in your life, when that's how you actually make your money, when you're telling everybody about your life. That has got to be the most tiring thing ever, is to always be someone you're not. I do not envy anybody who has to do that shit. No thanks.
Not really cognizant of that. And I think this was a lesson I needed so badly of, don't lose yourself ever again, or like always remember, as much as you want to give and love on other people, that you're giving and loving on yourself too.
You've been saying that for 7 years, so we don't believe you.
So I'm thankful, as hard as all of this has been, for that lesson. And I also just think too, like, there can be this feeling as a perfectionist, you guys know if you've been around, like, I'm such a perfectionist, that a marriage ending is a failure. And I just want to say to you, like,
yeah, but if it's out of your control, if he cheats on you, that's not a failure I would put on you. That's why I'm thinking, why were you so silent on the whole thing? It's not your failure, it's his failure. That's why it's so scary, because like, if what he knows he wants to tell the internet, and she wanted to be justified in what she did and tell the world, hey, look, girls, you're going through this. If your husband cheats on you, you don't have to put up with that. That's abusive, blah, blah, blah. She can't say any of that shit, because I was like, if you say shit like that, I'm going to tell them who you really are. And that's the scariest part about this whole thing.
You are going through a divorce and you're feeling like a failure, or if you're having a difficult time in your relationship and you're feeling like it's failing, just know you're not alone in those feelings. And, you know, a marriage takes two. It can't just be one person giving. And sometimes the healthiest thing to do if you are in that situation is to move forward for you.
She's trying to get like an essay done, 15,000 words, and she only has 2 paragraphs. This is what she. Okay, so sometimes if you're in a marriage that needs to be 2 times the Holy Spirit and everything else into 100% explanatoriness, science, Pythagorean theorems, math and shit, you just kind of, maybe the best absolute, thing maybe you have to do is consider the option of maybe possibly going about it alone and things. Oh my God! All you had to say was there, look, not every marriage goes on. Ours didn't. The end. That's 2 seconds.
Yourself.
You can't monetize that.
And to start a new chapter. And I know that's hard.
Chapter.
I think, because again, I think we all get married wanting this lifelong fairy tale, and we
Chapels.
love that and respect that so much, and it's beautiful when that works out.
Maybe it's not, he didn't cheat. Maybe he didn't like her weird tacos that she made all the time. Those weird shit things that she made.
But just know, like, if you're in a situation that isn't that beautiful picture perfect fairy tale, and it feels like you've been working on it and nothing is changing and it's unhealthy for you, the best thing you can do for yourself is to move to a healthier place in a situation.
See, what I'm hearing here, if I'm hearing it right, because she's just obviously speaking in circles, is that the marriage, either he cheated or he didn't. And if he didn't, the option was that they just had a loveless marriage. Because why? Because this shit was everything to them. He quit his job because she was making all the money. He had to work for her. Like, that's a lot of work, guys. I mean, I say work isn't like easy. It's easy to do, but that's a lot of shit going down where he doesn't feel like he's providing, or he's bored because you're not actually doing something. I can't not be doing something in my life. If I'm not doing YouTube, I'm out doing real estate, video photography, drone footage, or I'm doing video for other people. I cannot be not working and providing for my family at all times. Like, I would feel like a lump on a log and I couldn't do it. And I'm not saying that's the reason to ever step out on a marriage. And if there wasn't cheating, it just sounded like she wasn't ready to give up all that shit, and that she put all that ahead of this, and then he just had enough of it. If it wasn't the cheating, is what I'm saying. So,
whatever that might look like for you in your life. So, I just don't want you to feel alone if you're going through this, or feel like a failure, or be beating yourself up. Because I promise you, like, you are not the only person who's ever gone through divorce. I feel like
really? You're not the only person who's gone through divorce. Everybody, Bits of Bri said it here. All right. Thank you. Oh, man, I didn't know. Now we know. Jeez.
I needed to hear that so much when I was like at the beginning of it. Like 50% of marriages end in divorce. You're not the only
That's sad.
person who's going through this. Yes, it's very difficult. Yes, it's going to be very hard, but it really does get better. And I know when you're in like the thick of it, it feels like, is this ever going to get better? It truly,
She got a text from her man there. What's up, lady? Want to go Chuck E. Cheese or something?
truly does get better with some time. Okay, my best friend Dina just got here because we're filming some reels. So I have to cut this, but I just want to say again, thank you for the love. Thank you.
No, you don't. No, thanks. Anyway, well, that was boring. That's the update, though. And there's a lot of conjecture there. Shouldn't tell anybody anything. And people want the tea, and that's fine. You don't get it. That's okay, too. But Bits of Bri went through it all. We're probably likely never going to know what happened unless someone else spills the tea eventually on this whole thing. But I know Bri has some enemies. They have reached out to me from like as far back as high school goes. She's not who she portrays, obviously. So if Adam didn't cheat, which I think he did, but if he didn't, then it's got to be some kind of self-serving narcissistic thing where he's like, I had enough of this shit. I can't deal with it anymore. And like to a degree, she's saying marriage takes two and it takes everybody to put in, but she sounded like she was married to her channel for the last 7 years because that's where all their money was made. That's where everything was happening. She got her feel. That's where she felt good about herself. She's getting all the dopamine hits. She's all the support she had, all the friends she made was all there. And so he either maybe he felt useless. I don't know. But I honestly believe he cheated, and she's not allowed to say it because he'll spill the beans too. That's what I think, honestly do. So anyway, there's the update. People wanted me to cover it, so there you go. Her shit's boring. I'm kind of over Bits of Bri. Unless something crazy goes on, I guess I'll keep it there. So take a deep breath. Hey, sup? Wanna go Chuck E. Cheese or something? Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. If you're watching this, I'm probably on vacation right now, just living the dream on Disney vacation, just eating copious amounts of soft serve ice cream. But I have to take a lactate pill. For some reason, whatever happened to me in the last month, I had to go to the hospital for something. They gave me this pill and it cleared it up, was great, but it ruined my stomach lining. I can't eat ice cream, drink milk without like having period cramps. That almost killed me. Damn it. Anyway, that's probably what I'm doing. But I'm taking lactate pills because I'm eating ice cream nonstop and making fun of Disney adults. You hear it. But don't forget how amazing, incredible, and valuable you are. Don't you damn well fly Flare or Sunwing or all those other ones. And I'll see you tomorrow.